Well, a landmark ruling happening in the magistrate's court led to the imprisonment of an elderly woman and her grandson. The duo were found in possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition and learned their fate on Friday. Our Raven Davis is live in studio with the details. Raven?
Thanks, Simone. An elderly woman and her grandson facing serious charges in the magistrate's court on Friday. The duo, 80-year-old Freda Hart and 32-year-old James Hart, appearing before Magistrate Lang in court number 3, facing charges relating to the unlawful possession of an unlicensed firearm, contrary to Section 5B of the Firearm Act, and possession of ammunition, contrary to Section 9(2)(a) of the Firearm Act. Magistrate Lang reading the particulars in court. According to reports on Tuesday, December 1, 2020, a team of officers armed with a search warrant proceeded to a residence in the Wellington Heights subdivision. The officers dispersed, searching the rear exterior of the home, and were granted entry inside the residence. While in the home, defendant Freda Hart reportedly asked officers to use the bathroom on 2 occasions. Officers obliging both requests, and she was escorted by a female officer. But it was on the second occasion that something peculiar transpired. The elderly woman was reportedly seen with a pink towel in hand that she had previously retrieved from one of the bedrooms. While in the bathroom, she sat on the toilet clutching the towel but did not pull down her garments, this arousing officers' suspicion, and a struggle ensued. Officers say a .9mm silver firearm fell out from the towel in the ready-to-fire position. James Hart and his grandmother Freda were subsequently taken into custody. James admitted to ownership of the firearm, though he was not found in possession of it at the time of its discovery. Now, prosecutors opened the case on January 25, 2022, and the case closed on January 16 of this year. James, upon being granted the opportunity to speak in court, said he wished the court would have mercy on his grandmother, but Lang notified him that the case was well beyond that stage, having been opened for more than a year. He said the firearm charge was very serious and carries an automatic custodial sentence. The elderly grandmother begged the magistrate to set her free, saying she would die if she were sent to prison. Now, court was adjourned for several minutes before Magistrate Lang returned with the verdict. On count 1, possession of an unlicensed firearm, James was found guilty and sentenced to 30 months at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And on count 2, possession of ammunition, being found guilty, he was sentenced to 2 years. The sentences to run concurrently. And for her part, on count 1, the grandmother was found guilty and sentenced to 12 months at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And on count 2, another 12 months, the sentences to run concurrently. Upon hearing the verdict, the grandmother was unable to contain her emotions and began crying inconsolably. Appearing stoic and attempting to comfort her, grandson James wrapped his arms around her neck and held his head down quietly. Now, Lang reminded the court of the seriousness of the charges and said that lives were put at stake. He informed them that if they are displeased with the ruling, they reserve the right to appeal the decision. The matter came to a conclusion and the duo stood to their feet, but 80-year-old Freda Hart, too distraught about the sentencing, had to be lifted outside the courtroom by her grandson. Reporting live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis. Back to you, Simone.